saying that it is not domesticated.
Yes.
But can you check for
Four.
territorial application
Of this act.
Does that not suffice? The application of this act extends to every place in the Gambia.
You understand? That is if you commit an offense anywhere in the Gambia,
Okay.
you'll be held liable. But now what we're talking now is in terms of cooperation during the investigation.
Oh, okay.
You mentioned, yes, you mentioned specifically in this section.
Okay.
But that one is international cooperation. But there is no mention of domestic cooperation during investigation between entities that are actually involved in the investigation process.
Okay. No.
So maybe the recommendation could be just add another one.
Right.
F, the facilitation of domestic cooperation among authorities in the Gambia to combat cybercrime.
Noted.
So
Authorities and entities also.
Yeah.
Authorities and entities.
entities, exactly.
Just say stakeholders.
Stakeholders. Just add something, another one there.
We can go.
Yeah, we can continue. Five one F. No, 5.1C, sorry. 5.1C.
Each service.
Down.
5.1C, yeah? The ending of these provisions should be qualified as child pornography, not just pornography, to be inconsistent with the heading. No.
Can you read all?
Hmm?
Can you read all?
Huh? Can I read?
Yeah.
What I'm reading?
Yes.
The whole section.
The whole section.
The whole section C.
The person who intend, you know, the title says child
Child pornography, yes.
but the end is just saying pornography. So we are saying it should be limited to child pornography instead of,
Just pornography.
because the title is referring that this whole section is talking about child pornography. So it's not generic.
Yeah.
So, pornography in general, is it not, could not be part of it? Yeah? Maybe that's what, can you read the
No,
whole?
but if you look at all the other subsections, child pornography is mentioned consistently.
Okay.
Consistent, exactly.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
So that's why we feel that maybe this was an oversight.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, we add the child program.
Yes. Okay.
Downloads, distribute, transmit, disseminate.
No, they will not be limited. Now, when you look at what he's saying, what he's saying, if you look at A to A, B, C, D, up to H, each and every line of it has child pornography except C. He's right. And the heading speaks all.
Yeah. The heading is saying some child pornography. 5.1F. F. 5.1F, huh? It's, I think it's the same page, huh? Same page.
Yes, sir.
This provision is already covered in section 5, subsection 1C, except the keyword shows. Consider adding that keyword to C and delete F.
Okay, so cost of this.
You get my point?
Pardon?
Did you get the point?
No,
The provision is already covered in section 5, subsection 1C, except the keyword shows. We are recommending that you consider adding that keyword to C, section C, and delete F entirely.
So that you read a person who intentionally
So look at C and F.
offers, distributes, make available for shows child pornography. And then C says downloads, distribute, transmit, disseminate,
almost
circulate,
the
deliver,
education.
exhibits.
Apart from the word source, shows in
No,
C.
no, I don't think the little H also is a little bit different from C.
Okay.
So
Look at it
we're looking
properly.
at F, is it?
F.
F, not F. F.
F.
F.
F in section 1C.
F and C.
Ah.
Offers, distribute, make available. or source.
So in short, what we are saying, the word source child, from this word source, child pornography now can be moved to C, and it will make the end of C.
Yes.
That will even solve what we are saying.
What we are saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So take note.
Okay.
The end of F from O, then you have source child pornography. We want to move to C, and we delete F.
You add the word source
Yes,
at C.
Yes.
Yes. And just
For pornography there,
Just take note of
in C, I think to be better off, Halima,
Nah.
you can take note of it. To be better off, we could remove on the C, pornography, then we now add there or source a child pornography.
We will do that with
Okay.
next compilation. Just take note of the number.
So I think the suggestion is where you have or make available. That is where the source should be. Or make available or source in any way from a telecommunication apparatus child pornography. So the source should not be close to pornography. It should be or make available or source in any way from a telecommunication apparatus child pornography. Yeah. So the source should be close to make available.
make available.
Yeah. So that then if you have it in that form, then all the attributes that are in F will now be covered. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, when we are compiling, we have some
Yeah.
linguists.
So we'll do a write-up like you suggested.
Yes.
How it can be replaced. Yes. Yeah, and submit that. Yes.
So we have some experts.
Yeah. Right. So section 5, 1G.
Section 5. Okay, 1B.
1G. Just typo. The an O should be just O instead of an. We have an and O there. So we maintain O and we did an. Section 5, 1G.
After computer system.
Yeah. 5, 1G.
Procures through a computer system and or has in his or her possession child pornography himself or with a view to it being distributed or shown to any other person.
Yes. So after the word computer system, we have an O. So we're suggesting that remove the and just make it O.
Okay.
Yes. Procures through a computer system or has in his or her possession child pornography for him, for herself, or with a view to it being distributed or shown to any other person.
So how about comma?
To put comma, that is fine also, because it's also, but I think in law,
You use
you use O instead of comma, so we are using an and O, so we are suggesting that you delete and.
So the provisions are saying
O, yes.
So delete
And yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
that should be noted.
Section 5.4.
5.4.
Yes.
page 8.
Yes, page 8.
The High Court before,
Yeah.
if a person is convicted.
Consider adding element C as the forfeiture of all financial proceeds and other assets realized from the commission of the offense. So yes, C.
5.4.
We are suggesting that you add an element to say the forfeiture of all financial proceeds and other assets realized from the commission of the offense. You have only A, B. We are suggesting that you add another subsection C.
Okay.
Yes, which will read as the forfeiture of all financial proceeds and other assets realized from the commission of the offense.
Or financial. Or financial.
Proceeds and other assets realized from the commission of the offense.
Yeah, because this is very important, especially in
Realized
some,
From the commission of the offense.
because you are just going after the computer or the material that was part of the offense, the instrumentalities. But if someone committed this offense and was selling some of this material, like sex tortion, and made a lot of funds, maybe lodged into a bank account or bought property somewhere, So we are saying that those funds and the property, there should be provision for the High Court to seize those funds and also the property, not only the instrumentalities.
No? Are we communicating?
Yeah, yeah.
Because the essence is most of the time when crimes are committed and people serve their jail time, they go back and make use of what the process of their crime. So it doesn't actually discourage people from committing crime. Because you feel that if I commit a crime and serve my jail time, I can go and benefit from my process.
Come and enjoy what I
Exactly. So what discourage people completely also fulfill the process that they gain from the commission of the crime. Huh? Okay. Yes. 7. The numbering of the subsection should start with 1 and not 3. Just I think it's a typo.
Page 9.
Page 9.
Cyberbullying, we start with 3.
We start with 3 instead of 1. Page 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it should be 1, 2.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, we'll continue.
And that affects 4, because 4 is making reference to subsection 5, which should be now 3.
Okay.
It will affect the referencing.
The referencing, so if that change, you check the whole reference.
It's noted earlier by somebody, and the chairman noted here. It's in numbering.
Yeah. So proceed. Section 8.2. Section 8.2 will be in page 10.
That's on local.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, but before that, before section 8.2, let's look at section 7, but the number is not correct, but the current number is 5A and B. Page 10, sir. 5A and B. We've seen that the fine for an individual is same as a corporate entity. Not less than 1 million, not less than 1 million.
In the case of an individual, to a fine.
Oh, no, it's not there, sorry. There is a protection, we'll get there. Yeah. It's not in the but after I change it. So, okay, let's go. I said 8.2. The provision excludes using this, the sexuality exclusive content of a third party. For example, child, spouse, relatives, etc. to intimidate, coerce, harass, or harm another person. Consider incorporating it in the provision. So if you look at that provision, it says a person who uses a computer system to directly or indirectly threaten, intimidate, coerce, harass, or harm a person by using the sexuality explicit content of that person, whether consensually obtained or not, commits an offense. So we are seeing that we are suggesting that they also include like this other terminologies. For example, child, spouse, relative. Yeah, that's what they're saying here. To be a bit more specific, we are suggesting that you add in the provision like these words. The provision excludes using the sexuality exclusive content of a third party. For example, child, spouse, relatives, etc.
So that it
We are on section 8 now.
Section 8.2. 8.2. Yes.
of a third person, a third party.
Page 10.
Page 10.
So what is the suggestion?
To sign it.
What is the suggestion?
Yes.
A2.
Yes, A2, yes. So we are proposing that we also include, like for a third party, child, spouse, relative, etc. in the rendition there. What is currently there is only affecting directly. But for instance, if a third party is involved, so that is missing out sort of. So we are suggesting that we also include that kind of those kind of words there.
Actually, I think this is actually anyone, whether you are the main one or whether you are a third party or using somebody else. Actually, anyone. Yeah, that's why I say a person. So whether you are a third party or a non-third party, you are actually you are actually covered on this one here.
So the suggestion is that a person. Now, when the person threatens another person using the child, using your child, for example, someone threatens me using my child.
Okay. Well, that is another actually
so
area that's going to be covered on that.
So that's why the latter part of it, the beginning of the sentence is the person who uses a computer system directly threatens by using the sexual explicit content of that person.
Yes.
That means the sexually explicit content of me. What about my child? My son or whatsoever. So if you use that, this rendition did not cover that. That is why we are thinking that it should also cover your relatives, your spouse. So if you use the sexual content of my spouse to threaten me, that is not captured.
No. In fact, this one is sexual content, regardless of whether it's your spouse or anyone, any person. It's whether it's your spouse, your wife, your sister, your daughter, your son, or what. This should be any person. This is going to be covered on that. You know what happened the moment you use that sexually explicit. The explicit sexual explicitity doesn't actually define whether it's your relative or non-relative. It's actually comprehensive. All of them covered. But you see, when you go to the other area where you have sextortion, the sextortion actually you are trying to use some explicit of your whatever it is to be able to get something from your whatever. That is covered on a different portion. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we will still submit. But if you
no, that's fine. No, it's okay. We are just trying to explain that. Yes. When the explicit pictures covers anyone. Yeah, whether it's your wife, your relative, something that you get from the internet, something you get from anywhere, it covers all of them. Yeah. As long as you use it, but you can submit exactly what you have. Yeah. Because these are we are just exactly. You can submit. You can submit everything.
I understand what you're saying. It's just the wording we have on the text.
But it says of that person.
Yes.
Of that person.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
so it's restricted to him in the example.
I see what you're saying.
Okay. All right. So we'll see submit and then.
Yeah, just
you can look at it.
Sure.
Okay. All right. 8.3. Section 8.3. Just I think it's a typo. Add to make it shared instead of it's AR. Yeah. 8.3.
So the word share is SAR.
Yes.
Okay, then we continue, go to section 9A, B and C. 9.4 A, B and C.
9.4
B and C. So here we are saying, consider changing the rendition of this subsection to read as, what do you have there? Can you say any particular computer data of any kind, or computer data held in any particular computer system. So what we are suggesting is any particular computer system, okay, computer data or program of any kind, computer data or program held in any particular computer system.
So you say you want to use
Computer system.
Yeah. So what we are adding is like a computer system.
On A?
On any particular computer system. What do you have there is only any particular computer data.
Okay.
That seems to be restricted.
Data is system.
So we are saying system instead of data. And then Mo is an expert of this. So
yes, I know. You see, because when you say system, it is very restrictive. It may cover only like the network infrastructure itself, this computer system itself. But when you say data, because they are more particular about the data that you are taking to share, give, whatever it is. So what we can do is maybe we can add it computer system and data. to make it more complicated. Yes.
But to me, I feel like system is more broad than data.
No. You know the system is more to do with network hardware, the system itself. But when you go to the data, and it goes to the it goes beyond that. And I'm sure this section will actually is more concerned with the data or the information that is being sent on this particular section, because if you look at the unauthorized access to computer data, because this is very specific to the data that you actually try to access. Now, if you access the network itself to get to the data, accessing the network itself actually is a breach of its own. Then when you get to the network, you are able to penetrate the network and get to where the data is, then that's another breach. And I think this section is talking about unauthorized access to the computer data. So we can take note.
So which one is more restrictive?
No, this is specific for data. This is specific for data only.
Okay.
For section 9, unauthorized access to data only. But then when you go beyond, you will see that you may have generally unauthorized interference on the next one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Just to amalgamate the two talks.
Yeah.
That is why if you look at A, our suggestion is to have computer system. Then B, if you look at it, is having computer data.
Yes.
So that has covered the element that we were trying to raise.
Yeah.
So B is computer data for program. Yes. So that's why we thought it having it in this manner will cover all the angles.
Okay. That's right.
The A will cover the system.
Yes.
The B will cover the data.
Data
Yes.
program.
Or
Yes.
program.
Program, yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why we thought to have it in that manner.
We can take note of that one.
Yeah.
Right. Let's go to section 9.5. 9.5. The suggestion consider changing any other property to any other computer data, because property is not defined.
It says a person,
We define property.
under subsection 1, if he or she is acting in reliance of a statutory power to obtain information or take possession of any document or other property.
Yeah. Like your computer system, for example. If you have a server, if you have a laptop, if you have routers, those things. I think that the property, that's your property, for example. For example, if they were to come to FIU, for example, and they need to see some of your property, because if your routers, your network infrastructure, your switches belong to
Your properties.
these are your properties.
So we need to define property in the act.
The properties actually. Well, we can take note of that. We can take note of that. Yeah. The property may refer to A, B, C, and D. Yes.
Okay. 10.1. Section 10.1. I think it's the same page, yeah?
Yeah,
Yes.
more or less.
Consider adding the following provision to subsection 1. There's a long one there. Subsection 1.
10. You are on 10, right?
Yes, 10.1.
10 is even the way it's even done is not correct.
Yeah,
It's a FG.
FG head, yeah, exactly. That is even an issue, yes.
So we need to take note of that one. They need to change the bulletin. Yeah.
All right. So that you have cause and interference to a computer system, program, or data, results in a significant financial loss to a person, threatens national security, or threatens public health and public safety. So we are saying cause. We add these provisions there: causes, destruction, damage, deletion, erasure, deterioration, generation, modification, or alteration of a program or data or any aspect or attribute related to the program or data. Renders a program or data meaningless, useless, or ineffective. Interferes with or hinder access to a computer system. Interferes with hinder, damage, or prevent, suppresses, deteriorates, impairs, or obstruct the functioning of a computer system. Interferes with hinders, damages, prevents, suppresses, deteriorates, impairs, or obstruct the communication between or with the computer system. Obstructs, interrupts, or interferes with the use of any program or data or any aspect or attribute related to the program or data. causes denial, prevention, suppression, or hindrance of access to a program or data or any aspect or attribute related to the program or data to any person entitled to it. Causes impairment to the operations of a program or computer system. Causes impairment to the reliability of any data or computer system aspect or attribute related to a program or data. Causes impairment to the security of a program or data or computer system or any aspect, attribute related to a program or data. And finally, or enables any of the acts mentioned in paragraphs A to G to be done. So we want to make it a bit more comprehensive because these criminals are very cunning, very smart. So we will make sure the law covers everything, every aspect.
Every corner.
Yes, every corner. Yes, that is why we are suggesting to add these provisions.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Notice be given to you.
Yes. Well, so what do you think about the fines? About not less than 1 million, not less than 2 million in case of corporate body, and in case of individual, about the fines of 1 million, whatever. For example, if somebody is, convicted for those crimes, any of those crimes.
I think they are.
They're fine. Okay.
What we call in our language. They are dissuasive and proportionate. Yes, we want to just that there is one particular section where the fine for cooperative and individual are the same. Are the same, huh? Yeah. Yes.
And also, what do you think about the confiscation of their entire, infrastructure that they use?
We said in the
We
options.
said that, okay. Because that was always good.
Yeah, other than the options, yes.
Okay,
They
that's
take note of none of this. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Section 10(2)(b). 2B, yes. 10(2)(b) will be still to page 12, huh? Yes. We say the person responsible for authorizing interference may be different from a person authorized to cause the interference. Therefore, consider amending this provision to does not have consent to interfere from a person who is entitled to authorize or cause an interference. So currently, the way it is, if you look at the section 2B, does not have consent to interfere from a person who is entitled to cause an interference. So we are suggesting that we change this condition to this suggestion that we have here.
Right, that's fine.
That's fine, huh? Right, so move on. 11(1). The interception of data only limited to computer data. Therefore, consider amending the provision to read as. That's why we are trying to.
That's 11(1).
Yeah. 11(1). Yes. Okay. Yeah. So what we have observed here that the interpretation of data is only limited to computer data. Therefore, consider amending the provision to read as a person who is intentionally or without authorization does an act which directly or indirectly intercepts non-public transmission of computer data, content, or traffic data, including electromagnetic emission or signals from a computer system or a network carrying or emitting a signal to and from a computer or computer system or computer connected system or network, or causes computer data to be intercepted, commits an offense. Just like I was saying previously, we want to make sure we cover everything.
Yes,
Because we are dealing with very
yeah,
smart
that's fine.
That's
we can
fine.
reconcile with the Communication Act of 2009.
Okay.
That one also has a very specific provision for
Okay.
interception, mainly on telecommunication.
Okay.
That's the Communication Act of 2009. We've amended it in 2021 or so.
Okay.
But we'll reconcile the two.
All right.
If it is properly captured in the Communication Act, then we might just leave it on here.
No problem.
That's fine.
13(1).
Page 15.
Yeah, page 15 now. They're saying consider adding the following attributes as well. Receives, possesses, offers to supply. Those three attributes to that section. Consider section where you have a person who without authorization intentionally manufactures, sells, procures for use. So I saying add this receives, possesses, offers to supply those three attributes to what we have already. If you are okay with that.
You know, after we have input, distribute, otherwise make available.
Yes.
It go down.
Yes, so now, that is F.
Yeah.
So G receives,
Yes.
process, offers to
Offers
supply
to supply.
a computer system or any other device, So it's just like,
Hmm?
You can take note.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
13.3b. Page 16. Page 16, huh? 13.3b. What you have there is possession of a document in which the computer data is recorded. Okay? So we are saying possession of a document in which the computer data is recorded. Huh? Consider replacing the word document in this provision to data storage device.
Possession of the document.
Yes, instead of document, we say change it to data storage device.
So can we read subsection 3 for the purpose of subsection 2? Possession of a computer data includes, then you come to B, possession of a document in which the computer data is recorded.
When you say document, you can understand. It's limited.
Yeah.
So we are saying data storage device.
Yeah.
Okay?
So you can have the two. You can say document or data storage.
Storage device.
And
Yeah.
the subsection 2 is saying a person who is found in possession of a computer data or a device designed primarily for the purpose of committing an offense, commits an offense.
Where
You know, this section is section 3, subsection 3 is saying for the purpose of subsection 2. I'm reading that subsection 2. So just to have a general sense, it says that a person who is found in possession of a computer data
or device designated, okay,
exactly.
designed primarily for the purpose of committing an offense.
Yeah.
Commits an offense.
Okay.
That is true.
It links perfectly with
It,
it.
Huh?
So you can say possession of a document or
if it's a document, it will not be computer data.
It's not a computer data.
okay.
So we are
no,
saying,
if you say document, it's going to be, it will go out of
yes.
computer data.
So that's why we say replace the document with data storage device.
Yes, that's what it is. This document.
Okay? Yes, we hold on, yes, we know. Section 13,
Yeah, 3.
3b, yes.
You see what happens? You can write a computer program, like an executable program,
Mm.
and then you can print it actually.
Mm.
And if anyone has that document that's printed out, you can go and just redo it again and then generate it.
Okay.
So what this is trying to do is, like, for example, I can have an executable program and then print it and give you. In that case, I'm not giving you a soft copy. I'm not giving you an application. I'm not giving you a computer program. I'm giving you a hard copy. But when you use that one, you can actually reenact the program itself on another device. So this document actually is important, to have.
Okay.
Yeah, because I can write a computer program and then print it out and give you. So you can go on maybe creating JavaScript or whatever kind of script. You can create it again by looking at just the document I gave you. You understand?
Okay.
Exactly. So all that is possible, yeah.
Yeah, can we also...
Yeah, document is okay, yes.
Data storage device. Huh?
Yes, you can add, but we can leave document
We
there.
can leave document there. No
Can
problem.
add data there.
Yes,
Yes.
and
Data storage device. Data storage
exactly.
device.
You can have both.
Oh, yes.
So let's say document or computer storage device.
Data storage device.
Data
Computer document or data storage device.
Yes.
Yes. Huh? No problem. 13.5.
13?
There's no 5.
There is no 5, yes.
So you're suggesting
So it's yes, yeah.
Okay.
So we are saying consider adding the following provision to this section.
Okay.
Hence section 5 will read, notwithstanding subsection 1, a person shall not be deemed to have committed an offense if he does an act under section 1, under subsection 1, for the purpose of training, testing, or protecting of a computer system, or in compliance of and in accordance with the terms of judicial order issued or in exercise of a power under the act, under this act, or any other law, or any law.
So you are saying if they procured for the purpose of testing?
Yes. For the purpose of testing, for training, or for protecting a computer system. Or when they are also trying to comply with, in accordance with the terms of a judicial order. They are trying to comply with an order that is issued on the exercise of the order of this particular act.
No. The judicial order, I don't know how would that come into play here, because you are trying to say something that you possess is unlawful. I'm not sure if there will be any judicial order that would ask you to do something that's unlawful. You understand? I don't know.
Let me read what I say.
Yes.
Notwithstanding subsection 1, a person shall not be deemed to have committed an offense if he does not act under subsection 1 in compliance of or in accordance with the terms of a judicial order issued or in exercise of a power under this act or any law.
No, just
Maybe
to,
if you can cite an example.
yeah, that's where I wanted to go to. For instance, criminal's phone is under investigation, and he fails to give the investigators, the password. The court could say that if they could hack the password by any means, the court can give that order. So that is still an unauthorized access. But because now the court has given them that order, now this provision, they can rely on that and carry it out.
Yeah, actually we have it covered in one of the sections. For example, it's a requirement when the law enforcement actually needs your password. It could be numeric, it could be retina displays, it could be your finger, whatever. If you refuse to give, then that's an offense in itself. So we have it covered in one of the sections. Maybe we'll see it later on. But we'll take note of that, and just in case whatever we have, maybe we can make it strong.
That is an offense.
Yes.
When it's bought so to actually exonerate somebody who is investigating a person who refuses to tender his device for the investigators to look at it. And they couldn't access because the password is not available. So they use any other means that may look criminal.
Yes. In that case, you cannot call it a criminal.
So that's why it's trying to tolerate the
Somebody should make it something to decriminalize it.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, it wouldn't be. For example, the case of Apple and the United States. This guy,
Good.
But the person says no. In fact, Apple even said no. We cannot give you. We cannot give you.
Exactly.
So they have to use another means to access the phone.
Very good.
So to get what they were supposed to get. For that action of that particular FBI agents is not actually unlawful.
Exactly. What maybe they have covered in their law that action is not lawful.
In law, they call it I forgot what they call it. I forgot the term that they call it. But you will not be unlawful.
Yeah, we understand.
I see what you are saying.
Yes. So that's why you need to campaign to at least
that.
how to call it, ignorate that part.
Yes, I know.
Yes. Huh?
Yes, I will take note of that.
Okay. Section 14. Okay, this provisions in this section seems to only address forgery and fraud. Obtaining by false pretense to be precise. They do not adequately address the third crime in the heading, extortion. Nor do they include other forms of crime. In this regard, one may consider adding provisions such as 3. Number 3, a person who uses or threatens to use a computer system, network or data with the intent to extort, cause financial loss.
Then that would be 4.
Yeah, that would be 4.
That would be 3.
That would be 3.
Now to 4.
4. Okay, 1 to 5.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, for a person who uses computer system to carry out or facilitate any other form of criminal act, including but not limited to money laundering, drug trafficking, human trafficking, or terrorism-related activities, commits an offense. Okay? Yeah. So we are putting those suggestions. If these suggestions are adopted after the drafting by the drafting expert, the heading of this section may need to be amended. Okay? They need to be amended to cater for this accordingly. For example, to computer-related extortion, fraud, forgery, and the facilitation of other criminal acts. Okay? Likewise, section 14.1.2 should be amended to be ascribed in section 2 to 4. So that with the referencing will be consistent. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Honorable, I think we have some limitations of time.
Yeah.
We have 2 other institutions that are here, the Central Bank.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought they were all together. Okay.
Yes,
No.
I'm just reminded that they are separate teams.
Okay.
So since we have asked them to submit representative paper, now, well, if the honorable members agree, we can also allow them to do also their
Presentation.
presentation, and then because if we want to exhaust all these things, we may never be able to.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that will. Since you have
About 8 pages.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Yeah, that's about 4 pages.
Yes.
It's gone halfway.
Yeah.
Okay. We can do it. I'm sure we're gonna meet again because I don't think we'll finish this work for next session.
Okay.
So most likely we're gonna meet again. We're also gonna inform Mogdi because they're trying to organize I don't know, is it a workshop or whatever. So just trying to see if they can also invite you people also. If you can send in a representative because it's all like a dialogue so that we can have a better understanding. Because we want to make the bill stronger. Because we are not just only for today and tomorrow. We need to think ahead. Yeah, so I think that should be fine. So you show me what you have. I'm sure we will, so that we can allow the others also to make a presentation. And then I'm sure we'll meet again.
Okay.
So that, in fact, by the time we finish our document recommendations, we have to invite you again so that you see exactly what we have, so that we can, we must just say that we may not agree with everybody because of what they are saying. If I remember there was one aspect of fraud activity on this human trafficking, whatever, that somebody asked on the first day, but it was not covered anyway. So you see, this section will bring that aspect of the human trafficking thing because you can use computer system to be able to do all those things. So I think those are very important. So we will allow the others to, just like he suggested, to present, and then you submit what we have right now.
Now you can proceed with the Central Bank.
Okay.
Yes.
And then yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'll present some of the observations I have, and then my colleague also will present the observations he has. I think for me the observation number 1 is that there is need to include critical national infrastructure.
On where?
In the preliminary
Yeah,
part,
so like definition.
there should be a definition of critical national infrastructure.
Yes, take note of that one.
Yeah.
He said there's a need to include the critical infrastructure.
National infrastructure, and then to go further, should the national infrastructure be impaired, what happens? I think there should be some sort of fine when an individual impaired the critical national infrastructure. To prevent deterrence, there should be some sort of fine. Yeah. The other observation is on page 6 on 24/7 point of contact. I think this relates to reporting cyber threats. Looking at what obtains currently in the Gambia, it appears we seem to be speaking different language, because the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy some years ago established the National Cybersecurity and Incident Response Team, primarily for dealing with cybersecurity. Now with this act, they are telling us that if anything happens, you should report to the police. The question is, do they have the necessary resources to be able to deal with that? I have seen elsewhere, like in Ghana and the UK, they have what they call the Authorities Response Framework, where different entities would team up and deal with the threat. But then the sequence of events matters. I think for us, when we had some breaks some years ago, what we did was we teamed up with GMSAT, and then we were able to deal with the threat. And there was no mention of national police. I think there was some sort of help from the state intelligence services, but they also have a component on cybercrime. I think this is something we need to look at.
Yes, what happened is what they're trying to create, we are aware of the SAT team, but they cannot police anybody. They cannot arrest anybody. They can just gather information, intelligence, and then give to the police or whoever to effect the arrest. So this 24/7 contact point at the police is something going to be new. It will be created, and they're going to work hand in hand with the SAT team if necessary. What's going to happen is actually, because of, again, cyber criminals, you don't put a particular period of time that they'll be active during the day or they'll be not active during the night, whatever. So it's like 20, continuous process. So this team that will be created at the IGP level will be able to assist and to be able also to effect arrest immediately, not waiting until tomorrow or waiting for another 4, 5, 6 hours. That's the intent. So which means if this is created, then the onus now is going to be on the IGP to create such an office at that level. And then how are they going to collaborate with the SAD? That can actually be agreed upon. Because we are aware of the SAD, but again, they can only tell you what's actually happening. But in terms of investigation, criminalizing, or arrest, whatever, they cannot do that. So now the other component is going to come in to be able to do the monitoring. Now, so I think there will be some need of synergy among the two to be able to make it happen. Yeah. But we'll take note of that.
Yeah, so the other observation I have relates to the proposed amount for fine. So I was asking myself, let's assume there's a case of child pornography, etc., etc. And if that happens, somebody is arrested, has an evidence, you take that person to court, you're charging that person only $50,000. Now, $50,000 vis-a-vis the reputational damage on the child. If it is a female, this is a small country, chances are will that female ever get married into this country? To me, we should jack up the amount a little bit, essentially to prevent deterrence. Yeah. Because there are a couple of people who can earn $50,000. So that's the last option.
In fact, with pornography, you can earn millions.
And then once it is out in the public domain, you no longer have control over it. You can delete what you have, but what other people have, you will never be able to delete. And then with time, they say, this one's your grandfather, grandmother, etc., etc. So you need to look at the amount again. Thank you very much.
So we take note of that one, the amount for this child pornography. And for me, I will even go further. We can suggest the listing of the sexual offenders online. So that anyone that's in Gambia know that, this particular person is a sexual offender for just what he's actually saying. Because this is a lifelong damage to an individual. And you grow it until you die, that's what it is. So I think there's a need for us to have that kind of like list where sexual offenders are listed somewhere so that the population actually can know. Because that's going to serve as a deterrent. Because you cannot actually destroy somebody's life just like that for the rest of, So the fine is a non-starter. So we look at the fine and also look at for another aspect where we can list all of them on a particular website with the Ministry of Interior or wherever we want to list. But we need to have a list for them.
Naming and shaming.
Naming and shaming, exactly, something like that. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Afternoon, everyone. I think I'll just take it up from where my colleague boss has stopped. In fact, his first submissions regarding the critical national infrastructure, my observation would be if it can be captured as part of the offenses, to clearly spell it out. What offense would it attract if somebody has tampered with critical national infrastructure? Because these are infrastructures wherein if it is affected, it affects the whole country. And the punishment should not attract fines. I think it should attract imprisonment. Yes, it should be a jail term.
So you understand what he's trying to say? Because if it is the infrastructure of National Assembly, it only affects National Assembly. But if it is national, it will affect the entire country. So if something is going to affect the entire country, we need to be ruthless to ensure that this actually doesn't happen. So we are recommending that anything, that's why he recommended the critical national infrastructure has to be added, and anyone that tampers with it, that actually renders the entire country, an issue, I think that needs to not only fine, but I think jail, long jail sentence.
I remember maybe 3 weeks ago, the fiber optic at Joshua Cemetery was tampered with.
Yeah, exactly.
From that morning up to 2 p.m., we were not able to send transactions. Payments were not good. You understand? So what about if we had some international or foreign payments to make?
And in fact, even last month also,
nothing comes out of it.
The cable was cut in somewhere in Opasal, in front of my compound. That's where it was actually cut. And when they were digging, my brother told them, I think Gamtel cable has passed through here, but they wouldn't listen. The next minute they cut it, and it took them almost like a week. How many millions have they spent? And you know, that entire time, the transaction going on to the not bank is not going to go. So I think that's very important that anyone who tampers with the critical national infrastructure, and Gamtel has a lot of issues with that. I think you are aware. It costing them millions of dollars, and some of them is deliberate. Some of them, you know, maybe Mr. Whatever. But some of them
But I'm saying, especially my influence.
Okay, so we'll take note of that one.
Yeah.
Leave them there.
Again, as part of the offenses, or on the list of offenses that we have, I thought there are things that are missing in terms of cyber terrorism, cyber squatting, identity theft and impersonations, racial and xenophobic attacks online. In my observation, I think these are key, especially what is happening currently in the Gambia in terms of attacks online. I think all of these are key things that they should be captured, and there should be a fine associated to it, so that at least it will reduce the impact of people's activity choosing those things. Yes.
So you mean, can you be more specific? Example, what's happening in the Gambia online now? Can you be more specific? Like tarnishing somebody's image, you mean, or what exactly are you referring to?
One, I could use that identity theft, where people will use some other people's identity to impersonate them and do certain other activities. That is one common thing that is happening. And there is cyber squatting. It's not very, very common here, but the trend that is happening, people are using other people's brand to either sell or do certain things. And like even getting a very good brand is something that will take somebody a time to do all of those things. If somebody has built a very good reputation, you want to use that to either sell out or do certain other things. All of those are things that could suppose to attract a fine, just to discourage people using those things. And again, cyber terrorism, with the current geopolitics, we all know what is happening in other worlds. So we need to discourage our population from engaging in all of those things. And this is supposed to be part of the offenses that we are listed, so that at least in each of them we'll be able to have we will be able to attach an offense to it, so that at least we could either charge them a particular amount or a jail term.
Okay. Now, I know in clause 6, the computer-related offenses, one is that a person who, with the intent to cause harm, uses a computer system to D, impersonate a person, E, blackmail a person, C, bully, F, threaten to commit the conviction of a fine of not less than $50,000 or imprisonment. Not. So I think that's exactly what I was saying. That fine is just extremely too low. So we will take a look at that one, yeah, but it's actually covered on the section 6. So on clause 6, we take a look at the fine, the amount of the fine. Yeah, because you impersonate, you cause havoc. You blackmail also, you cause havoc. So I think we need to take a look at that. That's 6 years. Thank you. You can abusive words. Abusive words. This is. You know. For me, personal opinion. Some words can be very abusive to me and may not be to somebody. For example, in Wolof, for example, ngasaga ninde, wala ngana kidome haram la. For example, I'm going to kidome haram la. So some people don't even feel it, but if the moment you insult somebody's mother, then you cross the line. So now, how do we define those things? Because for me, this is worse than the rest. So I think we can take a look at this. In fact, I think I believe that when the Gambia, what's the name again? The media, when they come, maybe we can take a look at that particular section. Because I think they wrote about that particular section, about spreading false news, false information, this abusive language. Abusive language is subjective. Something that maybe actually to you may not be to him, depending on like the chosen word that you use, and then and our local language sometimes words could be interpreted in a very, very, very different ways. So we'll take a look at that, especially when the media comes. So we see exactly these abusive words, what exactly are we referring to, and then we can go from there. All right. Okay, thank you.
On page 4 again, on B on page 4, Statement is the use of computer system to store data or transmit data that is intended to seduce, lure and groom a child or a person believed to be a child. So my worry is, what do we use? What is a determinant to indicate a person who is believed to be a child?
Well, this is where the impersonation comes in. For example, you on a normal circumstance, actually, there are certain websites that if you are under the age of 18, you can actually access. But you make falsification to be able to have access to those things. Even in regular emails like Gmail or whatever, you are told that you have to be this of age. So if somebody impersonates that you are 18 and you are not, which means you are posing like you are an adult when you actually, in fact, you are not adult, or the other way around. You are posing as you are a child when you are actually not. So that's exactly what it's trying to capture. When you use it, what you claim to be, you are not. You claim to be an adult when you are not, or you claim to be a minor when you are actually not. I think that's what this section is trying to, trying to do. Because again, if you are calling yourself like I'm an adult when in actual fact you are not, that's a big issue.
Are you done?
Yes, I think I am.
The Bank Association, who?
All right, thank you very much.
How are you?
Yes, sir.
How are you?
Yeah.
That's my brother, yes.
Here.
Exactly.
How is everything?
Alhamdulillah, okay.
Okay, thank you for the invitation. I'm here with my regulators, the Central Bank and FIU, so there's much spoken on our and they've talked extensively on that, which for me is more of talking for ourselves. Anyway, for us, it's not more of child pornography and so on, it's more of financial crimes as it affects us. As bankers, we are mostly, especially the Gambia here, most of the banks, our members are a part of a group, which is international. We see the cross-border sharing of information and so on. So how does it jive into all this bill and how are we protected? It's a bit of a gray area to us, and we need some clarification on that. I think the second one also is more of how you divulge information in terms of investigations, be it with the police or FIU. Well, we know FIU, they deal with financial crime, which we are obliged to share information. But when it comes to the police, usually we see it more of a fishing expedition where some information are asked, when at the same time they haven't gotten enough information to be able to secure a court order to be able to get this information. So it's a bit of a gray area also to us. We are caught up in a situation where we are between the rock and hard surface there. So these are all things that we also need some little bit of clarification. I think the third one also is more of the fines. Now basically it serves two purposes from our view. One is to deter or a deterrent. That's why the law comes in. And in case you fall foul of the law as a corrective measure, as you know. So we were thinking the fine should be not more than, rather than not less than. Because if you fall foul of a very kind of situation where you are an individual or an organization where your capacity is not like 1 billion or this thing, and they said not less than 1 million. Now, that I think they put the judge in a situation where it would be a difficult one. So I think they should set the ceiling rather than the other way around. Basically, these are the 3 points that we've picked up.
Yes, we can start with the last one about the not less than. Yeah. What happens is sometimes also you don't want to tie the judge's hands. Right. Depending on the gravity of the crime, you want to give them, let's say, like a range where they can actually look at one, the gravity of the crime, two, the remorsefulness of the person that actually has committed that particular crime, and that's the reason why. Recently we are doing not less than this amount, so that the judge can look at those 2 factors. Depending on the gravity and also whether the person is remorseful. And then they said, okay, instead of not less than 1 million, he said, okay, I'm going to give 1.2, 1.3, depending on what actually happened. But also, the damage you have caused, sometimes it's difficult to quantify. Sometimes just, for example, a reputational damage, for example, on the other side. how much money can we put on somebody's reputation that was damaged worldwide? And this is something that you cannot just go and retrieve. That's it. That's it. Because the moment this goes out, I mean, who knows for the rest of your life? That damage is still there. It may be true, it may not be true, but again, that's actually what happens. Now, for financial issues, for example, let's assume somebody who has caused an issue, and that makes the entire finance system go down. How much money does the finance industry actually lose per hour? Per day, per second. So those things is really, really very difficult, or it's going to be really, very expensive. And if you make it, a chicken change in terms of finding, I mean, they're getting millions on the other side. Pornography is actually the business. There are countries that are earning more than billions of dollars every year on pornography. We're going to do it illegal, but for us, always on this side, it's illegal. So for us, the reason why we do that normally is to give the judges, a leeway to be able to, based on the gravity of the crime, and also based on the, the remorsefulness of the person, and above all, the damage you have caused, which can be quantifiable, which may be quantifiable. Yeah. So I think that's also okay. But so you are suggesting we must not less or not greater than.
Yeah, but I mean not the 1 million, but if you put a ceiling, for example, let's say millions, what you want to say. Yeah. For example, let's say we are a bank, maybe 1 million might not be a problem. Yeah. But if you have maybe a bureau or some small financial organization which the capacity is not up to 1 million. Now you said you charge not less than 1 million. Or let's even take the example of a child pornography. Some corner shop guy did some crime on pornography. Now, does he have 1 million? Now, if you charge 1 million, then you go to prison. Yes. Now, the objective is it to go and lock everybody who does fall foul of the law. So on the other hand, the corrective side of it, yes, we punish them because you have damaged the reputation and so on and so on. But is that the aim ultimately to be flooding the prison, in terms of corrective?
Yeah, I think when you look at the fines, jail sentences, there are many reasons why I'm glad. Some of them actually are corrective measures, but some of them also is to punish the individual for the grave loss you have caused to society. I mean, again, you cannot, because as a member of the society, actually, we are all expected to live in a very amicable way. But if somebody outside of the blue goes to try to destroy somebody's life, somebody's reputation, I mean, you have to pay some kind of way. Whether if you are unable to pay the fine, then you go to jail. So at least that will send a very. I don't think it's an interest of the state to send somebody to jail, knowing that you're going to take care of that person. But again, for damaging somebody's reputation for the rest of his life, and then you find him, let's say $100,000, $200,000, and then you just place, and then this man was free. When you are dealing with that for the rest of your life, you have a family that's dealing with it for the rest of their life. I mean, in fact, in many instances, even to get a job also, it may cause a problem. So I think those things should go, and for me personally, I think the fine must be as heavy as possible. No, particularly when it is, how to call it again now? When you deliberate, for example. Mistakes can happen. We can understand that, and somebody can take, your infrastructure and then impersonate whatever. We can understand those ones. But when you knew exactly what you are doing, that when you are doing this wrong, what you are doing is actually going to destroy somebody's image, somebody's personality for the rest of his life, but you continue to do that. So I think that person doesn't even fit to be part of our society. Personally, that's the way I see it.
Yes, so can I just dive on that? Sorry. Yeah. What I'm saying is, if you set the ceiling, it will still serve the same purpose. We're looking at the judge, for example. If you say charge not less than 1 million, then there will be a problem. If you want to say, okay, let's say a maximum of 10 million, so the judge will have now a room to maneuver from 1 to 10 million. But if you give them a floor to say you cannot charge anything less than 1 million.
No, okay. Now I see your point. That's also okay. We can look at it that way, not less than a particular amount, and depending on the gravity of the crime. And then, but I know the ceiling may sometimes be very difficult to do. Maybe very difficult to do because, particularly in the finance industry, an issue can cost hundreds of millions. In very short period of time. So we can look at the minimum is saying not less than 1 million, and then that's it. So that's fine. We can take a note. We can take note of that one. Yeah.
Yes, I think the floor, the ceiling thing, like you say, may be a challenge because now if you put a ceiling without a floor, for instance, the judge may decide to charge a very minimum amount. But there's only a ceiling, but there's no floor.
Right, exactly.
You understand? So if the judge charge like, for instance, $100,000, $50,000, he's still going according to the law, but he has actually made life so easy for somebody for a criminal. So that's why the floating sometimes is a difficult matter. Yes, yeah. You never know what kind of judge you may meet. Because somebody can be very lenient and then just give $10,000 you want because you say there's a ceiling, not more than this, but there's no floor. So, and this they are doing something, a crime that is of a serious in nature. So, looking at it, to me, that 1 million, I don't know how much people are generating when they do this.
Yeah, but if you look at it from that perspective, there might be small, petty crimes. We're looking at it from a big point of view, you see.
Yeah. For me personally, I think the way I want to approach it is like we do not have to look at who does the crime and his capability or his financial strength. We to look at the impact of the crime, of what is the activity going to do in later in life. Because there are certain crimes, if it happens to a certain individual, you will stay with them for the rest of your life. So somebody who has committed a crime like that, if you charge the person even 1 million, it's not even sufficient to cater for the damage that you are going to cause. So if you look at whether the affordability, whether the person or the institution would be able to afford the charges that is levied on them, I think most of these crimes, there is intent there. People, they have the intent to commit a crime. Though there are some crimes that mistakes do happen, but most of these cyber crimes, there is intent. So I think we need to look at it from that perspective.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. I just want to highlight one or two things. I concur with what the CBG people said with regards to having a critical national infrastructure information. So I was thinking perhaps one is we had either this law or the law should designate the critical national infrastructure information. So what is going to be the critical national infrastructure? So that should be designed, that should be designated. So the designation should be there. And like they said, the protection of it should also be there. And the offense against the critical national infrastructure should also have, penalties which will be different from other infrastructures. So I think that should be captured in the bill or in the act if it's passed. And again, the issue of reporting of cyber threats. I think yes, having it 24/7 is very important. But there should be a provision that mandates entities to report cyber threats, especially entities that are classified as the critical national infrastructure. Yeah. So it should be mandatory on them for them to report cyber threats. So I think it should also be captured in the cybercrime bill. And the other element that they've mentioned is yes.
No, we have it now in this in our actual.
Yeah, the other element is the offences. I think the offences we currently have in the bill, like Idrissa said, is very limited. I think the offences should be more than what we currently have. The issue of cyber terrorism should also be highlighted. Even the issue of attempt conspiracy, aiding or abetting, should also be highlighted as an offence. And the other thing that perhaps is not very common now is cyber criminals using cyber cafes. So what are we doing now about that? So perhaps it should also be, in terms of registering cyber cafes, we should have a provision that says perhaps cyber cafes should be registered with the AG chambers.
They need to be licensed.
Yeah, they need to either register or license, something like that, so that people cannot just walk in and commit an offense using the outlets and we don't know who the person is. So if they are registered or licensed, then there will be this element of fine. Okay, fine. Every ISP will know that if you are opening a cyber cafe, it has to be like an institution or a company, so that you have registration. In fact, you should even be using a public IP, a static public IP. Most of them perhaps are using dynamic. So in terms of tracing, the incidents, it will be difficult. So that kind of regulation in terms of registering the cyber cafes, I think should also come up.
Yeah.
The last but not the least point that I wanted to raise is the issue of the administration and the enforcement part. Some countries, for example, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Kenya, they have these advisory committees, okay, for cybercrime related issues, wherein the idea is to foster domestic information sharing and also to have a secretariat in terms of advising, come up with guidelines related to cyber threats, cyber crimes. So I think it is important that either this law or the ICT Act, I think it's still a bill, but has some element of that. Who is going to be responsible for such? So that I think these two laws would be intended to have this thing addressed, to have at least an advisory committee, that would help in creating the enabling environment to share experience and also to formulate and provide general policies and guidelines. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to add.
Okay. Have you exhausted your presentations?
No, we have not.
Yes, Central Bank, you're done there. Okay, that's fine. Then we can allow them to, because we still have another 45 minutes.
Yes.
45 minutes. Yeah,
yes.
We can submit the rest if you want.
That's fine, but we still have 45 minutes.
It's good that we discuss.
Yes, discuss.
Yes. So we can continue.
This is how we'll continue. We can continue from there. Yes. I think section 17.5.
I have another engagement. Yes.
No problem.
No, I have another engagement.
Suspend.
On the section 17.5.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Let's go by 17.2. 17.5.
So, Bob, yes. That one is yours, huh?
This one?
Yes.
Yes. I can see my scribbles on them.
It's page 20. Page 20.
Page 20.
Page 20.
Page 20.
17.2.
Yeah, we start with
17.2.
Yes, page 20.
Okay.
it's real-time collection of traffic data. So I'm just reading from our write-up, section 17.2. Okay. Although section 17.8 provides that a service provider served with an order on the warrant shall comply with it. Section 17.2, which highlights the purpose of the warrant, assigns the task of collecting or recording traffic data or traffic data in real time to an authorized person. Meanwhile, the authorized person may not have the means or technical capabilities to do this, considering that the traffic data is in the custody of a service provider. Furthermore, there is no provision that the court may order the service provider to collect or record traffic data, including in real time, which the authorized officer may then collect or record. So we are saying perhaps the Ministry of Justice would be able to clarify if section 17.8 or maybe this committee suffices in this regard, or if section 17.2 should be amended or expanded to include a requirement for service providers to carry out the collection or recording of traffic data.
Yes, we can reconcile it with the Communication Act of 2009, because I think some of the service providers, the only service provider are required to record and store some of this, some of the information that's going on, particularly on telecommunication. But in terms of social media, they only keep metadata. Actually, it's not like you go to, for example, QCell right now. they can give government information about what transpired on your WhatsApp message. WhatsApp, no, they cannot. The only thing they can do is when you connect to WhatsApp, who did you connect? Those are the times. Those are metadata. That's what they can give you. But the actual conversation is encrypted. They cannot. They don't have access to those things. So I think maybe we need to reconcile that with what we have in the Communication Act 2009, and then see what is, because of their data. The information is also very limited to what they can give you. Times, connections, you know, the connections, you know. Yeah, but we can reconcile with the Communication Act and then see.
Yeah, actually, when it comes to that, for WhatsApp message, I'm not very sure. But when it comes to SMS, voice call, they can give you the real data.
Yes, they can do that.
Yeah.
They can do that because of that's on. They're complying with the rules of the Communication Act 2009. They can do that. And you know, when did you call me? When did I call you? Whatever it is. But then when they come to third-party software, for example, this social media, WhatsApp, Viber, Telegram, etc., you know, they don't keep. They can tell you when did you connect with, you know, what time, what did this connect with. They can give you those are metadata they can give you. But in terms of the SMS, those are within their platform. They can give the information what actually has happened. You know, so during the process, you know. But we can look at it 17.2 and also reconcile with 8 and also what we have in the Communication Act 2009 and then we go from there.
Okay. Yeah. So on page 19, the definition we have some terms that are defined.
Page 19.
Yes. Under section 16.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think these definitions should be part of the definition section, not necessarily on this particular section, because if you put it on this section, we are limiting it to this section because it's saying for this section only. So the issue of encrypted data, you know, could come in.
Section 16.
Yes, 16.
16 says.
Yes, you know, sometimes they do that for specific reasons.
Yeah.
Like this definition only applies to this particular section.
Yeah.
Because of when you look at other acts of parliament, you may see that, for example, encryption may be defined in a different way. But they want this definition only applies to this particular section. They do it. So maybe we can ask them the question, because if it is already defined somewhere in another law, and the definition is different, and what they want, and the intent they want to, you know.
So why I brought it up is because the cybercrime bill or act will be used to charge someone.
Yes.
So if you are using it and there is an element of encryption here and there, and it's not in relation to section 16, the charge is not in relation to section 16. Then it might be difficult to apply this definition of encrypted data. So I was thinking along that line.
Yeah, I see your point.
Yes.
Yeah, I see your point. We can take a look at it and then see if they can reconcile them also and put them on all under.
Yes.
The definition section.
Yeah.
So may I?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So 17.5 on the same page. Okay. So it's what we are saying is that it seems unnecessary to have subsection A, as there is only one point being addressed. You only have one issue there. So likewise, this section should probably read as, we are giving a submission here, to say that the High Court may, if it is convinced that an extension is necessary, extend the period of the warrant for a further period of 1 month. So that is our recommendation. Yes.
That's fine.
So we also have something on section 25. 2, check the page, 25.2, that's page 29. Yes, 25.2. Okay, so this section states that outgoing mutual legal assistance request shall be made by the minister, that is the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, or a High Court judge. So we are aware of another law, that is the Mutual Legal Assistance Act, which normally gives this role to the Attorney General. Yeah, so we want to submit to the committee to see that there is no conflict with the mutual legal assistance law.
Yeah, in fact, I think it needs to be rewarded. The minister, through the Attorney General.
Through the Attorney General, exactly. Yeah, the central authority.
25(2). Because you've already defined that individual legal assistant act. That tells you the Attorney General is responsible.
Exactly.
Now to come around and change it in another act, you know, so but the minister can do it through.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Okay, so quickly we go to section 27.
Page 30.
Page 30.
Just give me 1 second.
Page 30.
I'm just trying to do something. Okay, page 30.
Okay, so this section deals with expedited disclosure of preserved data, traffic data, within the context of international cooperation. However, reference made to section 18 deals with interception of content data. The two sections do not seem to be linked, and the reference may have been intended for a different section. So, section 27 is talking about expedited disclosure of preserved traffic data.
We'll take notes.
Yes. So quickly we move to section 28.5. 28.5, I think, is on the same, next page.
Next page. Page 31. No, page 32.
Page 32, just on top. 28.5. So our submission is that this section deals with mutual assistance regarding access to stored computer data. However, subsection 5, which deals with the provision of results of search and seizure, refers to section 19, dealing with expedited preservation of stored computer data. So again, the two sections do not seem to be linked, and the reference may have been intended for a different section. So it's just to check the text to see whether there is no mistake. Yeah. And I think we are almost there. Section 30, 31, section 30, sub 1, and 5. We are taking the two together.
1 and 5. Okay.
1 and 5.
Recording in progress.
Okay. So sections 30, subsections 1 and 5 also refer to section 19 in relation to a foreign state making a request and the central authority in the Gambia providing information based on that request. However, such measures are not provided for in section 19.
Okay.
So it's just checking the text again to see maybe there was the referencing may have been maybe a problem with the referencing. Yeah, so the rest of our submissions are not in the document.
Okay.
So I think CBG has mentioned some of them. That is, we are recommending that to consider adding the following section in relation to offenses: cyber terrorism, and we have given a rendition of the offense: a person who accesses or calls to be accessed a computer or computer system or network for purposes of a terrorist act commits an offense and is liable upon conviction to such fine, and then it continues. So we have given a rendition, but a cyber terrorism offense. The second one is denial of service and bottlenecks. So we have also given a rendition which we can provide. The third one is electronic signature. Electronic signature. The fourth offense is to deal with identity theft and impersonation. The fifth offense is on cyber squatting. We also have a proposed offense to have a section on cyber stalking and also cyber espionage. Cyber espionage. So to have a section that captures these offenses we have mentioned: cyber terrorism, denial of service and bottlenecks, electronic signature, identity theft and impersonation, cyber squatting, cyber stalking, and cyber espionage. We have talked about the critical national information infrastructure, so we will not dwell much on that. What is also part of our recommendations, like Omar has mentioned. And yes, lastly, to have a part for administration and enforcement. Domestic information sharing, establishment of an advisory committee, a secretariat, and the need for mandatory reporting in the case of cyber threats, among others, just as mentioned by Mr. Dabo. So that brings an end to our submission. I think we have noted somewhere where a fine for the natural person is the same as corporate.
Page 15.
Page 15. So maybe you can also check that.
Page 15. Let me be more specific. Yes, and
12.8.
12.8, huh?
Yes, 12.8.
12.8.
A and B.
12.8 A and B. To individual not less than 1 million, or imprisonment for not less than 3 years, and in the case of body corporate, to a fine of not less than 1 million. So it's the same amount. Okay.
So, Mr. Chair, that brings us to an end of our submission.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Central Bank and the Gambia Bank Association. I'm sure because I'm sure we are dealing with this bill right now, so I'm sure we may not be able to finish maybe the next month or so. So in case you have anything from now until when we present the bill, you can always reach out. You can send us an email or whatever you think that we need to, you forgot, you can always send us an email. So you'll share the email, and some of you already have my numbers, you can always share. Okay. So on behalf of the committee, we want to say thank you, and we are really very grateful for the valuable inputs that you have given us. And this is something we're going to also use together with what we receive from the others. And then so that we can make very good recommendations for the bill. And then once everything is done, if there is time, we may invite you again so that you can see exactly, because I know we have recommendations from all over. Yeah. Some of the recommendations will be conflicting because you may say this answer is no, let's do it all the way around. But at the end of the day, the responsibility of the committee is to look at both and then see what's best interest for all of us. And on behalf of the committee, I want to say thank you once again, and it's greatly appreciated, and we thank you once again. And we can adjourn here. Thank you very much. Yeah, so you can share the document with us so that we can.
We suggested that we want to go back and.
Yes, and type it up. Yes.
Send it. No, we have the type one, but
yes.
With the discussion that we have here,
exactly.
We want to make some changes.
Yes.
If you can share your email with my with me.
Yes.
We'll send it via email.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Thank you very much. So we can adjourn. Any move we adjourn?
I move for the adjournment of the sessions until another date.
Yes. You can second.
Okay, second.
Okay. You already know.